We usually do, so today is January 25th, believe it or not. Ladies and gentlemen, we're already 25 days into the new year. What we usually do is I go through a basic search. I show you guys how to get your data, how it gets into your email, and also how you can do searches on ProbateData itself. I just want to say, like, for today, what we're going to do open forum. So you can ask me anything in the chat, any questions that you have around ProbateData. It can even go as far into things around, what do I say when I call them? We're going to keep this an open forum, right? And I'm going to do my best to answer and give you guys the answers that you need to kind of get in and out. So if you're just joining, welcome. This is the ProbateData PowerGym, and we're going to go through today's PowerGym as a Q&A open forum. And usually what happens, the first couple minutes are a bit slow. No one's asking anything, or maybe one or two questions. And then as I tell the answers, or I give my perspective on those questions, it usually starts, bringing up other ideas for other people, and then they want to ask other questions. So you're welcome to ask questions. You're welcome to put it in the chat. If it's easier for you to just unmute yourself, or say, I have a question, I want to unmute myself, just put in the chat and I'll unmute you. You should be able to join us. See a couple more people coming in. So let me just give you some ideas of what people usually ask. They ask about, what do I say, what do I do for marketing? Should I call first? Should I email first? Should I mail first? How can I get more phone numbers? Where can I find email addresses? When is I'm getting new data from my county? How do I do a search inside of ProbateData? All right, so we're getting questions from Barbara, Nick, and Brett. Let's see here. Okay, I'll start from the top. Thanks for your questions. Barbara, marketing question. How would you start a letter or call with a historical prospect? All right, so let's first define what historical prospects are. These are cases that were filed 12, 18, 24 months ago, where the case probably hasn't settled yet because the sale date of the property, as it shows inside of ProbateData, that is not within those 12, 18, or 24 months. So let's say a case was filed 18 months ago, but the last sale date was 5 years ago. So it tells you that during the whole time since the case has been filed, actually in this case, CoreLogic doesn't show a change of, it doesn't show a sale of the property. So 70% of the time, that actually means that there's an opportunity here for you guys, and you want to reach out to them. So Barbara's question is a really good question, is what would I say, and what letter do I send for historical prospecting? So let's get in their mind first, and let's kind of get in their shoes and see if we can walk a mile in their shoes before we think about what we want to ask them, right? So you want to go in knowing that if they file, say, 18 months ago, the property hasn't sold in 18 months, there's a very good chance that there's a hairy situation going on. There's something weird going on with the estate. Maybe there's claims to the estate. Maybe, it's just a little bit off. It's not the usual process, right? Because most estates, they sell their home within 12 months. So the last sale date would show within those 18 months. So that's one thing we want to think about. The other thing we want to think about is, at this point, most agents are calling on newly filed cases. No one's looking back. Only you guys who are on these classes, paying attention here, subscribing to ProbateData, are aware of this little gold mine that you can dig into. That was, you can go back to our database. We have over 500 million cases. Sorry, 500,000, not 500 million, 500,000 cases, right? Worth billions of dollars across many, many different counties. So when you go back in our database, you have fully access to it, right? We're emailing you the new stuff, but you can log into ProbateData and go back in time and then find these cases. So now what you want to know is, like, okay, no one's probably calling on them. They're having some issues because it hasn't sold yet. So you have a 70%, 65 to 70% probability that they could use your help. So when you're calling us on someone like that, Barbara, if you have the phone number, give them a call, because you don't want to mail them if there's no opportunity there. They're just going to ignore your mailer, right? So I will call them up if you can find the phone number. If you can't find the petitioner's phone number, maybe you can find their attorney's phone number, or maybe you can find the beneficiary or an heir phone number, and then just call them up. And what I usually suggest, and that many agents have used so far, and I'm getting emails telling me it works, and then they also post it on Facebook, is something along the lines of this, saying, hey, Barbara, this is Jonathan. I'm calling because you show up as the the PR, the petitioner for the state of so-and-so who was your grandmother. Is that correct? Yeah, that's a while ago. Great. Well, the reason I'm calling is, I'm actually concerned about this state because my job is to make sure everyone that goes through probate in my area, specialty in my farm area, they get the best help possible. So I'm just wondering, what's the biggest challenge? I see that you filed it on, August 2019, and it's been a while, and it doesn't look like the property is sold. Is there anything I can help you with? I mean, I'm certified in probate real estate. How can I help you? What's your biggest challenge? One of two things will come up, or three things. They might say something like, well, I mean, this is the answer you're looking for. Well, it's been a nightmare. It's just, there's been so many issues. I don't even know where we stand. That's the answer you want. I mean, the perfect answer is like, oh my God, Barbara, I'm so glad you called. Please list my house. That's the ideal situation. Okay, and one notch down from that is, Barbara, I don't know. It's been a while, and we've been working on this, and my cousin, and then you just let him talk, and you find out. I said, well, what's the biggest challenge? How can I help you? And then you just listen. So that's one possible answer. The other possible answer is, I don't know what you're talking about. That was a while ago, and my son took over the property according to will, or grandpa took over the property because it was in joint tenancy, or whatever the case. There was a transfer within the family. That's why it shows up as not sold. You go, okay. Or a third possibility is they completely blow you off, and they just like, I don't know who you are. I don't want to talk to you. Those are your four options, right? Number one is, oh my God, please list my house. I'm so glad you called. Number two is, yeah, we filed 18 months ago, and it's a mess, and I just don't know what to do with it. I thought my sister would be cool. And then you just listen, and you go, well, how can I help you? I have a whole team of professionals standing by. What's your biggest challenge right now? I'm happy to drive by the property. And even you can even drive by the property first and take a look at it. If it's still dilapidated and not well maintained, a lot of deferred maintenance, chances are nothing's happened with that property. So that's, and then the third option is, no, that was second. Third is, I don't know what you're talking about, leave me alone. And the fourth is, we transfer it within the family. There's no need to sell the property. So that's the approach, that's the energy I would lead with, and how you want to do that, whether phone call or door knocking, if it's safe, or sending them a letter, a postcard, or something like that. It's just a regular greeting card, even like, hey, I noticed, and it's something that's handwritten that stands out, because chances are no one's marketing to them anymore. Like I said, most agents are just looking for the newest leads, and they're just looking at what's the latest and greatest, and I want to go with that. So for those of you that's joined, welcome, and we're doing open forum today, the open questions. So just put your question in the chat, and I'll go through them one at a time. Nick is saying, I'm getting info on the wrong county. How do I change that? Nick, just email support@ProbateData.com. Tell us which county you want, and we'll make the switch for you. Brett is saying, why do I get a lot of gateway timeout errors? So Brett, I'm guessing when you're trying to download cases from Probate Data, you're getting gateway timeout errors. It could be one of two things. Either you're trying to download thousands of cases that your account doesn't support, or there's an internet connection, or we have a problem on our side. I haven't heard any issues from anyone else, and I can test it later. If you want to follow up with me, Brett, just email me to info@ProbateData and info@ProbateData.com, and just tell me what kind of search you're trying to do, and I'll see if I can replicate the issue. Also, it happens if you have a weak internet connection. If you're on Wi-Fi that's not well connected, because when you do the search and you do the download, it kind of goes a lot of back and forth between a server and your computer, and it tries to pull information down. Let's see here. Barbara's saying, but no phone number, a drive-by is perfect and handwritten. Yes, you're welcome. Guys, if the property happens to be in your area, and you find, let's say, a handful of properties, just go for a long walk, if you can, or go get on a bike ride, get some exercise, take pictures of those properties, or drive by if you want to, take pictures of those properties. If you don't have the time, you're busy closing deals, I get it. It's a hot market right now. Then hire some college kid to go out there and take pictures for you, and then send them to you, right? And say, okay, this is this property, boom, email it to you. And then you can say, wow, this property looks like crap. Let me talk to the PR. What's going on here? You know, you guys filed 6 months ago. This is an invitation for burglars. This is an invitation for pests and complaints and city violations. Let me handle this for you. I got a team of pros. I got this. Remember, guys, you want to lead your prospects to the right decision. Let them be the hero. There's a great book I recommend everyone reads. I absolutely fell in love with it. It's the best marketing book I've read in a long, long time, by Donald Miller. It's called Developing Your Story Brand, by Donald Miller. And he talks about how most companies out there, they get marketing wrong because they position themselves as, we've done all this, we have all these accolades, we're great, and yeah, we'll make time for you if you're the right fit. He's like, it's really, if you look at the evolution of the human mind and mindset, people like to be their own hero in their own stories and their own lives. They want to go out there and slay their own dragon, so to speak. So you don't want to compete with them in that quest. You want to become the guide. And he has this whole framework that's really amazing that I studied very carefully. And one of the things you want to do is position yourself as the guide to their hero's journey, right? So every hero you can ever think of, they all had a journey. Luke Skywalker had Yoda, right? The guy shows up at the right time with a magical quest and weapon and all that. Yours is, you're the guide in real estate, and your C-Press is your secret weapon, your magical Excalibur sword, if you will. And your job is to guide them through their own hero's journey. So when you're showing up, so what's your biggest challenge? What tool do you need right now to complete this journey? Lead them, guide them, but don't be the hero. They're the hero. Acknowledge where they're at. Okay, let's see here. Fast Wireless is saying, usually I just close the site and reopen and it pops right up. So I think Fast Wireless, I don't know what your name is, that's a response to Brett. If you close the site down and reopen it, it should come right back up. Columbus. Okay. Kay Radcliffe. I'm guessing Kay is your first name. I'm not receiving any probate leads at all. I am in Columbus, Franklin County. Okay, you're not really leads at all. That is not good. What are you paying for? Email us support@ProbateData. There might be a setting. Okay, it's either a setting inside your account that's on us, and we need to fix that, or it could also be that your county is shut down, in which case I recommend you go back to historical prospecting. So historical leads, or golden leads as we call them, just go to youtube.com/ProbateData, go to our playlist and then click on golden leads. What are they? This is what I was explaining before. You go back in time and you find opportunities there. So if your courthouse is shut down, that doesn't mean your business needs to shut down on probate. Just go back in time. We have a good sized library of cases that you can go back in time and find prospects there. Charla, you got a question? Go ahead. You want to unmute yourself? Charla
Yes.
Garcia.
Yes.
Hey, Charla.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hi. My question is I'm in Clark County, Nevada, and so we only have one county for, looks like, the whole state. So I went a couple of counties in 2 other states, and I'm curious, is there any way for me to benefit from calling these other counties, any of these leads in these other counties? Is there any way for me to benefit from that? I mean, I'm not sure how to attack those leads.
Yeah, so you're in Clark County, right?
Yes.
That's where you're getting right now. What other counties are you interested in?
I did Orange County, California, because it's close, and Maricopa County in Arizona.
Okay, so I can almost imagine what you're thinking is, but keep thinking it through, because I think this is beneficial to everyone on the call. Why are you doing that? I think I know why, but let's think it through together. Everyone can learn here together. This is an interesting strategy that Charla might be pursuing knowingly or unknowingly. Go ahead.
Actually, it's more of an unknowingly, because I wasn't getting any leads from Clark County because I think it might be closed. I don't know. I didn't get the email, they didn't update. So I went with those other 2 counties as well. So there was 3, so I went with that.
Okay, so I think you accidentally stumbled into an opportunity. Let me tell you why. So Clark County, I know we've gotten more cases there that are being uploaded today or tomorrow, so you'll get notified about that. There's a good amount available there. So you'll get plenty there. But one of the things that I see very many creative agents do is that they think outside the box, literally outside their county. So what I know, like someone like Deborah Blue and Michelle Jones have done, and a couple others, is that they start looking at, well, I've got access to leads. You know, I'm working my county here, I got plenty, but also I could get access to a couple other counties. So you could pick either counties based on proximity, you can pick counties based on your network, meaning who do you know there, or you can pick counties based on property values. And what you could do is you could either network with other agents and then help warm up those leads and get the listing appointment and do a split. You could work with investors in that area and say, look, I'm a certified, I have access to probate real estate. I know you, I'm in Vegas, but I know you're in Orange County, and you're part of my network on LinkedIn or however you find them. And then how would you like for me to just go out there and get you some appointments to go out there and buy some properties? And then you can make a deal where you get referral fee, you bird dog. Those are all side hustle gigs, if you know what I mean. Your main bread and butter is probably going to come from your own county. Now, if you work with an agent in network and in CPRES network and say, well, I'm really good at marketing, I'm really good at, you know, phone prospecting and getting people on appointments, but I really don't like going out and meeting with people. I don't like closing them on Zoom. I noticed, like, we had someone when they did the 8-week challenge, he was getting a ton of appointments, a ton of listing appointments, but he didn't convert all of them. Like he only, like out of 10 listing appointments, he only converted 3. So I'm like, I think his name was James, like, James, what's happening? Oh, you know, when I'm there, and he kept talking. I said, you talk too much. You're talking yourself out of the sale. He's like, yeah, I know, man, but I love marketing. So then find yourself an agent that can close for you, right? Closing is a skill set. Marketing is a skill set. Prospecting is a skill set. Research is a skill set. Know where your strength is and then go, okay, I'll lean into these other areas where I'm not 100% strong, but there might be a day where I can partner with someone who can actually close better. So if you go out and you find someone in Orange County, Charlotte, or you find someone in LA, you go, man, I know it's a hot market. If I could just, I'm just gonna make something up now. And I said, man, I know marketing. I get people on the phone. I follow up like nobody else. If I could just get someone out there to get the listing, and they would pay me half the commission or 20, whatever you can negotiate. It's a win-win for everybody. So let's say, Charlotte, you got someone in Orange County, and you got Deepak in Orange County. Say, Deepak, I got you an appointment Tuesday at 2 o'clock for an $800,000 home. You interested? I know Deepak's going to jump on because he didn't have to do anything for that. Other than he had to go close. He goes, he closes the deal, and then you guys work out a deal, a referral fee or something. So I think there is benefit to looking around what other counties you have. And Charlie, I know for a fact that we're uploading Nevada today or tomorrow. I have a call scheduled after this with my leads coordinator, Kristen. So we'll get up on that. All right, Sergio Tejada, is there a resource available to us for some letters, scripts? Yes, it's inside. If you're a CPRES active member, then it's in, I think, section 6. You go in there and there's a bunch of great stuff in there. All right, Clayton, I got you. Kathleen Ratcliffe, okay. Vivian, I'm still studying to get the test. Yeah, keep studying. Don't overstudy, just take the test. No realtor left behind, okay? You take it, you fail, you go back again. We're not gonna kick you out. All right, Smiley saying, repeat the title of the book by Donald Miller. It is called, and I'll put it in the chat. It is called The Brand Story. Hold on, Brand Story, I was confused. Brand Story.
I already helped him out.
Oh, you got it? Okay.
Yeah, I put it in the chat.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
There it is. Okay. I'm just making my way down. There's 20 new messages. All right, there we go. Did you, Charlie, did you see Richard Rue in there saying, refer the Orange County leads to me and I'll give you a referral fee? There you go. Problem solved. Building a story brand. Thank you, Carrie. Terry Hunter, one of my lawyers got the judge to remove the requirement for court confirmation originally required. I don't know how he did it and he's no longer available to me. Any input on how this can be done? It would certainly be a good thing in our current half shutdown environment. I don't know. I'm sure the lawyers, the judges are going to do what they can to, if they estimate that there's no need for court confirmation, If that's their judgment, then they're not going to cloud the courts with that. I would ask an attorney that. That's a good attorney question. Once you figure out the answer to that, and you have cases where there's court confirmation required, you might even be able to lead with that. It's like, I have a resource, or I have a thing that we can work with your attorney, so we don't require court confirmation. That way we're not exposed to COVID, to the courts, whatever. Also, we can speed things up. If we get an offer this week and you want to close next week, we can do that. We don't have to wait 30 days for court confirmation. Is that something that would be of interest to you? So I think you got something interesting there, Terry. Dig deeper and find out what the deal is and how they did it. And then even call the courts and ask them, how can we remove the court confirmation? What is that going to require? Dig in, and you'll get something. It's a good, I like it. I like it a lot. It's a very good edge to lead with. Yanni is saying, what does it mean when the petitioner is the county public administrator? Well, Yanni, that means that the decedent was a very lonely person, had no one there to appoint in the will. They had no family around, no next of kin. And that's, I'm not laughing at that. I'm laughing at Deepak's comment, to calm and collect. That basically means, Yanni, that now the county is in charge. And so the county oftentimes gets appointed when there's no next of kin, no family, no will, nothing in place. They're like, well, I guess we're going to do the job now. So I guess the next question for Yanni and everyone else listening is, well, how can I get my hands on that department? You and probably hundreds of other agents trying to do that. I don't know the answers to that. But we had someone, what was his name? Hank. This is like 8 years ago. He had kind of that presence of a banker, and he always wore a suit, and he kind of had that presence, And he just went door knocking on banks. It's like, hi, my name is Hank. I think it was Hank. And he's like, yeah, I'm certified pro real estate. I'm here to meet with your trust department. Oh, do you have an appointment? No, but I can, he would just get in. He would just talk his way in, meet with the trust department of the bank. And that way he would start developing relationships, because a lot of times a bank gets appointed as a PR, as a petitioner. You'd be surprised. A lot of times banks, they're in charge of trusts, or they have to make a decision. They need to sell something. And I'm sure they have their existing network, just like, attorneys do, but it shouldn't stop you. It shouldn't stop you. The more you plant, the more you'll harvest. Some things take longer to grow than others, but eventually everything grows. If you tend to it, you water it, give it enough sunshine, give it a little love, it's all going to grow. Okay. So Terry, are you reading the comments from Smiley? Oscar, the attorney can request full authority to expedite based. Oh yeah, that's a good one. So Oscar, answer your question, and Smiley, answer your question. Good stuff. All right, these are great questions. Any follow questions to these, or any new questions? I love how this community is coming together and everyone's pitching in. This is great. Anybody want to see any searches, anything like that? If you have questions about where, so in the beginning we had, was it Nick or somebody else? Whoever it was for Ohio, make sure you email me, info@ProbateData. I'll put it here. I'll send it to you. Hold on. Where'd you go? Where was it? Where's the person that asked me about Ohio? There he is, Kathleen Ratcliffe. It's not a he, it's a she. Kathleen. Okay, Kathleen, I'm in messaging my email right now, okay? And then I will. So Kathleen, go back, historical prospecting. We talked about that. And then Deepak, call me collect. Those days are over, my friend. Those days are over. No one's calling collect anymore. Have you heard of the internet? Do you know what that is? All right, let's see here. Barbara's asking, any input on the Wednesday calls with Jack O'Neill? I wasn't able to get through. I I don't know, like was there an issue? No one could get through, or you couldn't get through? Sometimes it depends on your carrier because it's using some remote phone number. Maybe try different lines. I don't know what to tell you. So what does he cover? So Jack is more of a, Jack O'Neill calls on Wednesdays. Basically call and you ask any question around the probate process. You know, what does this mean? What does that mean? A lot of newcomers really enjoy it. They get their questions answered there. And also the calls get recorded, and then once every 2 weeks or once a month, we post them into your training portal. So you can go in there and listen to any calls that you might have missed. But it's pretty much open forum. Sometimes he'll post on Facebook like, hey, today we're going to cover this. But for the most part, it's just asking questions about probate. How does it work? What is it? What is full authority versus limited authority? Things like that. A little bit like what we just did right now. But ours is more specific to probate data. Any specific questions on ProbateData.com, on leads, anything like that? Everyone's good. Carrie's good. She's smiling. Smiling and dialing. All right, let's see here. Got a few minutes left. Is everyone clear on historical prospecting? Going in and getting historical prospecting? Can I get a yes, a no? A hand raise? Okay. No, no, no. Yeah, so Chen is, if the courthouse is closed, go in and do historical leads. So I'm going to post this. I'm going to post this inside of the chat, direct link to the video that teaches this. Golden opportunity leads. This is from July of last year. Yeah. No one's watching this. Only 4 people watched it. No, that's not true. 487 people liked it, and only 4 people liked it. I'm so hurt right now. Here we go. That's a YouTube link. Go ahead and check that out. That's where I teach you basically what I would have done here in this last half an hour. What you would get out of historical prospecting. So go ahead and watch that. For those of you that said no. That's Yanni, Charla. Okay. Barbara's asking, I haven't started calling. How many are good numbers? Start calling, you'll find out. That's the easy answer. Just call, Barbara. Don't overthink it. Just hit the phone. Call, call, call. Remember, for every call you don't make, is one person less that you don't help. You have so much you know how to help. You know way more than they do. Even if you just took the class last week, you're ahead of everybody else that's dealing with this for the first time. Remember, you're not calling to impress them. You're calling to help them. You're calling to be their guide. Let them be the hero. Shannon, yes. So you go pull those yourselves, and those are not being emailed to you because I don't know how far back you want to go, and there's no way of systematizing that. So again, historical prospecting, you go back in time, you look at the last sale date, wherever it pops up, and the last sale date wasn't within the, say, 18 months time frame that you pulled it. You download those, you cross-reference with your MLS, make sure it hasn't sold, and then you make those calls. Brett is asking, if no property shows up on the probate data site, does that mean there isn't any property at all? Or it could be not be determined at the time. So basically, if it doesn't show up as any property at the time of this deceased, so some states don't display that. Like I know Arizona doesn't. A lot of times it was considered a closed state. And those times it doesn't mean there's no property. That means you got to dig a little harder. So Arizona, what they do very successfully is they cross-reference the property tax records with the decedent name and location, and then they kind of back channel from there, and then they also check with their title company to look that up, and then they reverse engineer it that way. So they got their work cut out for them, but it doesn't stop them. They still work to make it happen. Charla is asking, this is a great question. If the decedent died years ago, is this a good lead? Not sure. let me use Charles' question to reiterate probably the number one thing you need to know about probate and probate data and probate leads. It doesn't matter when they pass away. It matters when they file. Okay, because when they file, that's when there's a desire on behalf of the estate to move forward. Because grandma could have passed away 5 years ago, and that's also always the example I use, right? Grandma passed away 5 years ago, property's paid off. All they gotta do is pay property taxes. No one's really asking for any money. There was enough money to pay off the bills. Grandma planned ahead very carefully. She had some money in the bank. Maybe she had some other things going on. They could liquidate that, take care of everything. Like, we don't need to sell the house. So then maybe, one of the sons moves in, and has a family. And then years later, kids want to go to college. They're like, oh, we're sitting on a, $700,000 home. Let's sell it. Yeah, let's sell it. $700,000. They go out, and then the agent comes over, and if he or she knows what they're doing, they go, great, this is your property. I see it's in so-and-so's name. Oh yeah, that was my grandma's, she gave it to us. It was in her will. Now we live here and we like to sell it. Nah, can't sell it. It's her name on the deed. She's dead, and we need to go to probate. Oh man, okay, well, what does that mean? Well, we gotta do this. That's when they file. They file when there's a need and a desire to move forward. Grandma passed away 5 years ago, 5 weeks ago, 5 days ago. It doesn't matter when they pass away. It matters that it got filed. Does that make sense, Charlie?
Yes, it does. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, that answered it.
Okay, you got it. So this is like what Mike Torres always talks about. Like when you guys initially saw him present the introductory class to probate and probate real estate, it's that 90-minute introductory class, whether you watch it live or on a webinar. He always starts out by what are the two things every agent wants? They want motivated sellers and lots of equity. And that's what you have in probate real estate. Because the moment they file is the moment of motivation. And your job is to help them understand their options and what they can get through. And a lot of times they want to sell the property. All right, folks, any other questions? We'll take one last one before we call it a day. It's Monday. It's in the morning. You got the whole week ahead of you. Who's excited about the week? Anyone? Anyone excited? Anyone? Just Carrie and me, Sergio, Terry, Cliff. All right. Vivian, yes. Good. All right, Kathleen, good. Well, let's tell us, fast forward to next Monday, and what would have to have happened in this last week for this week to have been phenomenal. Okay, think about that after we hang up here. What would have had to happen these next 7 days for me to show up in 7 days and say I had a phenomenal week, and here's my number reason why. What would have to have happened within the next 7 days for me to report that I had a phenomenal week? Think about that, write that down, and then watch it happen. And also watch your procrastination happen. And also watch your little demons show up. And also watch all the reasons why you're not going to do it. Or how all of a sudden something else became really important. But get clarity. Get it done. Terry's saying new listing. I like it, Terry. You got anything? You got any fire and any iron in the fire? Got any layups? Etienne saying my first deal. Barbara saying start mailings. Make the calls. That's it. Chen, how many calls? Come on, put it in writing. How many calls are you going to make between now and next week? It's just you and me and 41 of our closest friends here are going to hold you accountable. How many calls are you going to make by Monday? We want you to succeed, right? We all want a chance to succeed. We want to see it happen. Okay, 2 calls. So 2 a day. Does that mean 2 contacts or 2 phone calls a day? I need specific, Chan. Come on, we're going to hold you to it. Okay. So let's see, 2 phone calls. It's 14 calls. Let's call it 15 calls. Chan, let's call it 20 calls. 20 calls by Monday. 2 responses from my flyers for listings. Okay. Great. Okay, so whatever it is, whatever your thing is, I want to hear a report back by next Monday. I had a phenomenal week because blank happened. And better yet, not because blank happened, because I made blank happen. Luis is saying, door knock to get at least one probate listing. I like it. Remember the enthusiasm and your optimism at this very moment. And when you're feeling doubt, you're feeling scared, you're feeling like, this shit doesn't work. Remember this feeling right now when you set these goals, and that will pull you through, my friends. Until next week, stay safe, be well, and wash those hands. Bye, everybody.